right now we are going to have the open discussion with Sheikh Mohamed Abdiweli, which is basically a discussion. You can ask him whatever questions you might have, anything you want to know, whatever it is. Who wants to go to the chat?
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so I'm going to speak under prediction, and there was a play before where the father caught his son smoking. And I'm not attacking the actors, but the father, when he saw his son smoking, he did not say, come sit, let's talk, what's going on, what are you dealing with, what do you do? Which is exactly what our parents do. And the other thing is, how do we communicate with them? Because as girls, we go to university, we get harassed or something happens to us in university. We come home, we still talk to them because of how we did it. So how do we talk to them? How do we communicate with them in that way? And the last thing is that personally, it's a personal opinion, I feel like our parents had a mentality of just one program, like you was like another program, not in the mentality of it's not that. It's always yes, you are children and you will do as we say. It's not that we have to work sometimes. So I want to ask, how do you communicate with them in that manner?
Those are good questions. Beautiful questions. And we need those. First question is, your names? You don't want to say the names, okay, no problem. No name, no case. Very good questions. And these questions are real. We always have this problem because of the generations you are and the generations of our parents. But my generation is slightly, I'm slightly older than you. So between the generation of your parents and your generation. So how can we link up between us, you, and your parents? Number one, is what happened here, and it's true. That sometimes our parents, when you tell them something, we understand. But remember that this comes from a background. The same background we are having today, which are different, that our parents went through system. They had culture, they had a background. Their background had this. This is how they communicate to them. Because they face hardship. You can comprehend that. But someone who lived in a village, in a desert, for example, in Galkaya, other places, people, life is very hard. And that's why the Somali language, sometimes our parents, their languages are very hard. There's no emotional, intelligence saying that, oh, my daughter, are you feeling bad? I'm actually really sad. Why are you acting up? Why do they act like this? Because life was very hard. And if someone was not very hard, he couldn't live that life. That's why they tell you, because before, if you are not tough in your life, in Somalia, Zaman, you could not penetrate. So because of that training, it's hard training, military training, our life is soft life. You understand? Because of that, they still have it. So we have to change it. I understand. But still they have it. So if they say that, how can you communicate to someone who says, now that is your test. Your test is that if your parents, we talk to parents. When I'm lecturing to parents, we tell them that these are different generations. Be kind to them. But still, as us, as parents, as children, we have to act with our parents in a nice way. We have to be humble. That's what I was talking about. Humility. He's speaking in my father will say this, my mother will say this. I am from the university. I have a problem. I have been harassed. I have been told this and this. How can I come over this? If my parent is not understanding, I will try to explain to them. Now, okay, if I don't do that, what will happen to me? Because it's a valid question. If my parents don't understand me, should I go to other people? Should I just keep quiet? What kind of information am I giving to them? So if we don't understand them, let's find people who understand us. Because sometimes our parents, they have a lot of problems. For example, you are the firstborn. You are 19 years old, 20 years old. You have other 4 siblings, 5. She's worried about those 3, and then you come to her and you're telling her, oh, I'm having a difficult time. I want one-on-one. She doesn't have that time. Why? Yes, I want this question. Thank you for the facial expressions. It's because, we have to be very just. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ. We have to be just. Because we have to look at the situation of our parents. Our culture is based on a family of 2. In the West, they have time for their children because they're only 2 or 3. And that's why a mother can talk to her 19-year-old, because she understands that they're the same culture. And also they're only 2 at home. When you have other 6 siblings, for you, she's working hard. Your father is not around sometimes. He's out of the country. She wakes up, she goes to work, she comes back, she looks after you. She has no time for a 19-year-old and 20-year-old. Besides that, I want to be very honest with you. 19-year-old in her own culture is a grown-up person. 18-year-old is a grown-up. Once you are 16, you are grown up. Once you are 16 or 15 and 17, you are a grown up. You have to act up and think for yourself, number one. Because in Islam, once you're 14, 15, you are grown up. You can marry at 17, 18. This culture today of saying that I'm still in university, 22, 23, 24, I'm still young. You're not young. 17, you are old. So I don't want to go further, but my answer is no. But we are tested with our parents. They are hard because of their culture. They are sometimes rude, but we can talk nicely to them. We can be humble. We can try to understand them. The third question, one Kubale. Sometimes, yes, our parents act like as if they own us. Samay. It's not that you are my parent, ilahi ba masulin kaga that anim sama Kubale. Lawada afar mid doro hawa ama du'o. Now that is true. This helps us in a way, but also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us freedom as human beings. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي. But as a human being, you have a sense of freedom. But because obeying your parents helps you as a human being, you have to be humble to them. For example, you're at a police station and you're driving traffic. A traffic man tells you that you're wrong, and you know that you're not wrong. You're right, is it? So, do you argue with him? Do you yell at him? What do you do? Because this is the policeman traffic. He will just get any mistake and put you in jail or take you to a police station. You don't want that. So what you talk to them nicely. So even though they are telling us that, it's their weakness. But their weakness or their rudeness should not be answered with rudeness. Are we together? This is our test, like your generation. Your test is you don't understand your parents. They're not right 100%. They're human beings. But try how to be humble. Okay. If we don't do that, what is our next option? If we don't do that, we leave them. And if we leave them, that is our only way. You have no option. This is your part. So if sometimes you're tested, tomorrow you're going to marry. Sometimes you'll be tested with your wife. She's your wife. You'll be tested with your husband. You marry a husband, you love him at first, you go to home, and you have children with him, 2, 3, and then suddenly you become someone else. How are you going to live with him? Is divorce the solution? It's not the solution. So you try to see the mechanism, how can I live with my husband? We have to see the mechanism, how can I live with my parents? What makes my lawyer happy? What makes her happy? Then that is how I can live that. I hope I've answered the question. Barakallahu feekum, jazakallahu khair. What do you mean? No more questions?
Does anybody have any other questions? Any other questions? This is the last question, inshallah. So, just somebody.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. waxaan jeclaan lahaa inaan wax ka ogaado lacagahan digitalka hadda adduunka soo biiray ee cryptocurrency-ga haddii aan profit fiican aan ka sameeyo is xalaal miya hadday xalaal tahana masaajido iyo waxyaalaha dadka loogu qabto ma ku sameyn karaa
Very sorry, but
Cryptocurrency وصباح شغال في جريس ninka hadii hada siyaabad hadii طبعا abxilis hadii ninka hadii hadiis ninka Soomaali ku hadla ninka Soomaali fiican ku hadla soo hadla magaca ya abshir ya ilaahay oo tala abshir hadiyo ninka uu ka farxiyay maanta af Soomaali waxa wax weyn weeye. You have to learn Somali. So, and Abshir is asking about the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, you know about cryptocurrency, isn't it? Okay, the word in Sharia, we have what we call a thaman. A thaman is what we use the currency using. They used to use gold and silver. So after that, we have currency, which is paper. So African rand, the dollar, the shillings, the euro, everything else. Now, whatever we use is a thaman. And there is movement, what we buy with, sugar, clothes, everything what we eat. So now a thaman, what is the currency? What should we use to trade? We use currencies what we have. Can we use a crypto? Yeah, because we have Bitcoin today, we have cryptocurrencies. Now, cryptocurrencies, are they allowed or not? The ulama, they still have different opinions on cryptocurrency. But I personally, I believe that cryptocurrency for now is advised not to use it. For one reason. Any currency should have a backend. It should have a bank, a central bank. The dollar is higher than the rand because we know the dollar is an American, it's under the Central Bank of America. And the rand fluctuates, goes up and down according to the Central Bank of South Africa. So if you use a currency which doesn't have a central bank, which doesn't have a government, cryptocurrency, okay, who is regulating that currency? And that's why we see that the Bitcoin or the crypto, some of them, they go high. One crypto is equal to $18,000, for example. And then after 6 months and 1 year, you find it down. So, لا تأكلوا أموالكم بينكم بالباطل. Now, the المال, wealth, is in ضروريات الخمس. I'm sorry if this is sometimes you may not understand, but ضروريات الخمس is the 5 necessities of Sharia. Is حفظ المال. How can we protect our wealth? So we cannot put in our wealth in somewhere we don't know the banker. We don't know who owns this currency. And we've seen this in forest trading, for example. Forest, digital forest trading came, online forest, people invested money. And they were getting a lot of money, 1,000, 10,000, 5,000. What happened after that? Zero. So the digital currencies which are coming out, the forex and everything, before you invest, the online forex, before you invest, the cryptos, try to understand first. Ask the ulama. Ask people, even the finance, people who know about finance. Is it halal? Can I use it? Before even declaring the halal, is it viable? Is it something that I can trust? So I don't advise to use cryptocurrency now. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. That's why I'm not saying that it's haram or it's halal. You cannot use it now. Why? For now, it's not allowed. But we don't know what will come tomorrow. Because before, we had gold, then we went into papers. So maybe we are going to go out of papers and go digital. So inshallah ta'ala, barakallahu fi. I hope that I've answered. Muhammad, I can't you have it. Barakallahu fi.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Let's get to the open discussion with Sheikh Mohamed Abdiweli. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah reward him abundantly.
شكرا.
Ameen.